G'day guys, welcome back to another video. It's Enno here from Fantasy Take TV. Going to do a quick live reaction to the teams for this week, round 2. To see what I can see there, any key ins and outs. I think we already learnt today, we did. Draper, the young key defender there, is going to be debuting for Freo, so it'll be interesting to see Freo's team. I think that's probably the most anticipated one, but I'll try and I won't try and do this for too long, but we'll get through anything I think that's relevant, obviously, to SuperCoach. And we've known this team, Saints versus Collingwood, since last night. So nothing really we can gather here, and the sub won't be out for another 15 or so. So maybe we'll come back to it. Look, big takeaways here is obviously Sinclair back in. A lot of us looking at maybe a Bonner, or you started him, and interested to see what that looks like. So I'll see who the sub is. I mean, my guess is probably one of Windhager or Jones. And Jones maybe comes in to the midfield for Ross, and then Windy goes to the sub. Who knows? So we'll wait and see on that. Play side, nothing really. I mean, we all own Nick Dacos, or you'd be looking at him if you don't after his bye, and then maybe Finn gets a full game here. We'll see in a little bit. So to the next game, we've got the Cats taking on the Crows. I think these outs were said a bit before as well, but pretty standard ones, I would think. You know, when Keane's back, he's first or ahead of Borlase, and then Scholl as well with Saligo, who was the sub last week, who's now in the team. Where is he? Forward there. So I think once he was fit, he was always coming in, and then Gallant out for Tex. So Burgess holds his spot. A few of you might have started him. I was going to, but better options presented, so I went without. But he may still be an option if he strings a score or two together. So nothing too big here. I guess Edward McHenry, who I don't know too much about, unless that's Ned McHenry. Anyway, probably the sub, I'd guess, from that group. Cats, so Tanner is out, and they've brought Oisin Mullen in. Okay, interesting. So I think obviously Joe Clark's going to hold his spot if they've lost a midfielder, and someone else will have to jump in and play some minutes there, whether that's Max Holmes, maybe Mark O'Connor to do a role with someone. I'm not too sure. Cats fans will know better. And then another look at Dempsey if you don't have him. I started him, so very happy with what he did last week, but let's see if he can back it up and do it again. So nothing too big here. Stewart, few of you might own, and there's not too much else going on at the Cats. So we'll get into the next team. Won't try and spend too long. And here's the big Freo news. So I think pretty obvious what these ins were going to be if they were fit. Simpkin and Almac. I mean, Almac just makes sense for Goda. And then Shields, it was the sub last week, so he's out altogether. So Lazaro held his spot. If you have him, he's named actually on the field at half forward. Maybe loses a bit of mid-time. Who knows, really? He might get another crack at it. There was a bit of gastro running through the North team, so wonder if there will be any late outs. Obviously, keep an eye on that. But Simpkin named on ball. Maybe, who knows what happens with the mid-time there. And what's going on with McKercher? We got Fisher on the bench. He's named on a wing. Scott was playing a bit of half-back last week as well, so it's a bit hard to know what's going on there. With North. Interesting. And then Freo, I mean, that's a big one. So they've picked Draper here. He's named on the bench to sort of cover a key position post. Hayden Young's actually been named at half-back, so interesting. That'll scare a few people. But look, I'm not going to be trading him now. We'll see what happens and then decide next week. I mean, I believe he'll stay in the midfield. Maybe he spends a little bit of time at half-back. Hopefully not, but Sharp's another one to look at if he produces another decent score as a rookie next week if you don't have him. And there's not too much else going on here. So Taberner's got the game. Maybe O'Meara's sub or Emmett. I mean, Brody's not in. People will maybe worried about that. And I mean, I don't think Liam Reid even flew over, so he's emergency. So look, Luke Jackson staying in the ruck is a good one. If you own him like me. And then Hayden Young we'll have to keep an eye on. I mean, I still expect him to play midfield, but we will see. So I wouldn't be training him out off the back of him being named at half-back on a team sheet. Just see what happens this week and make the decision after that. Now, just one change here for Melbourne and nothing for Hawthorn, so that's interesting. Hawks, no changes, so yeah, he'll be sub. Maybe it's Finn again, or maybe he plays a full game and flags someone like a Clary more track if they, if he's playing in the midfield. So we'll see. Petty in, so maybe it's interesting who'll be sub. Maybe it's Windsor. Interesting, because they've sort of just brought in Petty for a small, who Taj was the sub last week, I believe. So that's a hard one, actually. I know Windsor was subbed out, but you'd think he'd be getting a run. He's been pretty decent to start his career, in pre-season and last week. But yeah, that's a weird one. Hopefully it's not Marty Hoare for someone like me who owns him. But yeah, that's a weird one. Maybe if you were thinking about trading in Marty Hoare, wait and see, because he may be the sub. I'm not sure there. Sydney and Essendon, so just one change for Sydney. Fox out, Warner in, and then nothing else that's really too relevant there. Matty Roberts, hopefully still some half-back time. I know Jake Lloyd's name there, so maybe a bit more wing, but yeah, hopefully some more in defence. Essendon side of things, few outs, so we knew Zach Reid out for quite a bit. Redmond suspended, we knew, and then an injury, and Harrison Jones omitted after one game. So I think so they're going with the double ruck setup. So maybe a bit of a tougher outing for Grundy. Parrish is back, Laverde back to cover Reid, and then Hind, I guess, in for maybe sort of a Guelphy replacement there. So yeah, maybe he's sub, maybe Menzies sub. We will see. And yeah, not too much else to talk about there. The Dogs, so this is on a Sunday, so I mean the rest is going to be extended benches, unfortunately, but if I can pick anything off the team sheets that are on field, yeah, we're not going to get too much out of that. Buku, some people might own. Caulfield, some people might own or be looking at, so just get another week with them and have a look. Gallagher as well, actually, who's played on the wing last week. He's a 123k forward. Yeah, there's not too much else there. Maybe on the bench, it'd be hard to pick there. Darcy's into the squad. It's going to be tough for him to get a game, so we'll move on. Jed Walter's been named to debut, so yeah, he's named on field. I imagine it's probably Casbolt who doesn't quite make the team. Anyone else? Flanders obviously plays. Swallow obviously plays, so it might be Holman as well. So those three at least play, and then the fourth one, not too sure. Maybe it's a Mac Andrew. That's probably my guess. We'll move on. Nothing too big to note there. I guess Buderick holds his spot. Tom Berry, some people might be looking at, so I think I've traded him in at this stage. Whether I go through with it, I'm not too sure. Some more squads, so we know about these injuries, and let's see how they've attacked it. So they've named Camden in the back line. I'm thinking maybe, as much as I don't want to say it, Ben Miller might be in, or it might be Tom Brown, and just have some of these guys play a bit taller than usual. But yeah, we're really down on key back stocks, at least for a week. I think Young should be back next week. So Seth Campbell as well, extended interchange. So tough to know until tomorrow, and then maybe it might even be hard to know if he's not sub, if he's still on the bench for tomorrow in the team sheet. So that's a tough one. Port, again, just naming some extended bench players. Nothing really changed, just McEntee out injured. So yeah, I mean, nothing big to take away from Port. Just interested to see what they do with their mid-mix, with Rosie, Wines, Butters, and then Horn Francis. They gave Mead a little bit of mid-time last week. Wonder if that sticks as much as it did, compared to this week. So we'll see. And we'll move on to the last game. Eagles and the Giants. Nothing too big here, just a couple of outs. So I think we knew Allen was injured. Nick Haynes out with a personal reason. So, yeah, anything on field of note? Nothing big. Harley Reid named in the middle. I think I'll be looping him with Wilson tonight, so we'll see what he scores, and if not, I'll chuck Harley Reid back on the field and give him a run. And the Giants side of things, nothing too big here either. Rookie-wise, Harvey Thomas, some people might have started, and Ware as well holds his spot on the wing. So, wait and see how that goes. Whitfield might be someone we target off the bye. Not too sure, but yeah. I think if you have someone like a Briggs, you probably obviously let him play out this week, but trade him after that 50. Maybe you go down to a Cherry if he goes good again. Because, he's going to drop a bit of cash. But he's got a good matchup this week. And then, a lot of us might be falling onto Tom Green as captain in the last game of the round. So, nothing too big I can tell. Really, I guess the big ones are, what does Melbourne do here? Just keep an eye on Marty Hoare for the sub. Because, we're not too sure. I mean, it still can come, I think, after, or can come from the field, sorry. So, we may still not know. And then Freo's team, just keep an eye on Hayden Young, Jackson's going to play ruck. That's not really an issue with Reedy fully out. But, not too sure what's going on here. Draper's obviously going to play backline, probably start on the field. And then Walker would be their 7th defender. So, look, it might be a bit of smokescreen. They'll just, naming a team sheet doesn't really hold too much weight more often than not. So, I still think he'll play midfield. So I wouldn't be too worried there. And then maybe North, what they do here, is it a Tucker sub? And really what actually is going on with their distributors down back. Almac back now. Obviously it was for Goda, but, Shees, Scott, McKercher, and then Fisher's obviously named on the bench. So, interesting one. I don't think we'll quite know what the sub is. Actually, we might now. So it is Zach Jones and it is Finn McRae. Finn's just forever in that sub role, and then Zach Jones is there too. So I obviously expect Windhager is named forward flank. So I guess Bonner is the 7th defender on the bench. Wilson's the sort of other forward on the bench. There, Burns is sort of a winger, bit of high half forward, and then Sharman's also that. So interesting to see. We'll see what they do tonight, the Saints, and have a look at Bonner with Sinclair back. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Pulling out the coupe at the light.